So I got another product to review from 1byone, and it is actually my first review of a gaming headset. I reviewed a few headphones before, but not a gaming headset. What's the actual difference? I would say the 7.1 virtual surround sound and the retractable microphone. That's pretty much it. So if you want to know a few of the maybe numbers here, as you can see here we have a 50mm driver, 105 plus minus 3 dB, a response from 20 Hz to 20 kHz, and 32 ohms. That's good enough. So how does it actually feel on my head? And I have to say, let's quickly get around. As you can see here we have the microphone. You can take it out, you can adjust it, so all that works fine. But I would actually just forget that. But I will get to that a little bit later. We also have a remote. As you can see here, it starts at this pace. You can set the volume and also turn on and off the lighting of the headphone. I didn't really found that to be that useful. The little bit of an annoying thing that every time you plug it in, the lights will both be on. I would prefer that to be off, but that's okay. This works fine. The cable itself feels quite high quality because it's braided, but it feels definitely sturdy enough. What about the headphone itself? First of all, something that I've never had before was one that adjusts the size on its own because of this mechanism, and I will show this a little bit in depth on my head in a few seconds. So this was something definitely new for me. The padding on its own definitely is quite nice because it's definitely not too soft, but it didn't really make any difference. So it was quite comfortable. You will sweat underneath it, but I didn't actually notice the sweat until I took them off. So they are quite comfortable. They are big enough. My whole ear fit in. This maybe isn't padded a lot, but it doesn't have to be because, as you can see now, if I put them on, this works pretty much automatically. You don't have to do anything. You just put them on, and whatever you do, it will do the rest for you on its own. And I've never used such a system before, and I have to say I am pleased with it. I actually like it because usually I never know, should I make it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, but this way it just works and it's comfortable. It's maybe not the most comfortable headphone that I've ever used, but it actually is really, really nice. Okay, this thing, as you will see, takes up a lot of space and doesn't look all that amazing. Same as for the sides, especially if we have the lighting on that I can show you here. Even with the light off, as you can see here, this is what you will see. It's maybe not beautiful, but if you just use it at home for your gaming, it works fine. So I can't really complain about the comfortability at all. It should fit every size, so it can get very big. Comfortable, no problems here. I didn't touch the driver, which is something that I usually absolutely don't like, so this is fine. Not quite sure about how sturdy it is. So as you can hear, it squeaks a little bit, but this is more than you would need, and it swivels a little bit. You can't really pack it anywhere because you can't really make it any smaller, so it will take this much space in your bag or something like that. So I would say we are good enough here. So before I'm going to talk about the sound, let's quickly check the software here, because if we go into here, you can see that this is the software. It's in German, but it should get the job done, because as you can see here, Lautstärkeregelung is for the volume, so you can set the main volume and for back and side. So as you can see here, if you right click now, you have a few more options. As you can see here you have the polling rate or it's the frequency or something like that, 31 and 84. I'm not quite sure what. Usually Abtastrate is polling rate. You have also an equalizer, and I would actually suggest you to maybe bump up the highs a little bit, but I will talk about that later as well in the audio part. And of course we have different presets. Here we have different environment settings if you decide to need those, but I found this always to be a gimmick. You also have the 7.1 virtual surround speak shifter, so where you can change it. This I would turn on for the gaming, but how well it actually works for gaming we will see later. Also here we have Xeer Sing effects and the surround max option. I guess that's pretty much it. You don't really have too much more. If you maybe hit this button, you have some different presets, but it was actually quite good all around. So I would say let's talk about the sound. First of all, in terms of audio for music, and I have to say music sounds decent. It definitely sounds not fatiguing at all, because the highs I would say are a little bit cut off. So they are definitely not fatiguing. You can listen for hours and hours because you won't maybe hear all the details, but it's good for that. The bass is definitely a little bit boosted. It doesn't go maybe super deep. It's definitely not super precise, but it does an actual nice boosted job. So the balance is quite okay and the mids are okay. So you will, compared to maybe more audiophile headset, feel that everything sounds a little bit more toned down, muffled, and just not as clear and open. But therefore it's really good for listening to music very loud and for a very long period of time, and this should be good also for games. And so For music, it's absolutely fine. Now, what about the games? I have to say, first of all, the 7.1 virtual surround sound didn't really impress me so much because I never in games could hear if actually something is coming from in front of me or from behind me. It didn't really make a change. Right side and left side worked out quite fine, but the real surround sound I didn't get, even though I used the 7.1 feature. So this is something that they could definitely improve, because whatever I tried, all the demos that I used, the front sound pretty much the same as the back. So once it does though, it's quite good, because if you play a shooter or something like that, the bullets sound very nice. And I think it's definitely sounded more towards gaming, because the gaming experience was really fine. And for especially if you maybe use a lot of racing games that have quite harsh engine sounds, they won't sound harsh here at all. In terms of movies, for example, if you check those, there I found the maximum volume not to be loud enough, because usually those have a 7.1 or 5.1 track, and then the individual tracks aren't that loud, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get it loud enough, because usually for music it was definitely fine enough. Then I could maybe listen to at maybe 80% and it was already loud enough. For games, I actually used it at pretty much 100% all the time, which was definitely loud enough though, but a few more reserves would have been fine. So I would say it's time to get to my verdict. Are they comfortable? Actually, for the price of around $50, they are comfortable. And I did not expect that, because I thought at first something must be wrong. But no, it's definitely not the comfort. The sound. Don't expect too much. It's not something super audiophile. It's not something that delivers you all the details. Maybe, especially for games, if you want to have things localized, if you want to locate if something's behind from you, this is something that you will be missing. But if you just want it for stereo, then it does an absolutely fine job. And for music listening, you can still do it, especially if you just listen to maybe less demanding music that just doesn't have most of the details anyways. But therefore it does a fine job for $50. I can't really say if the value is all that good. The cable, by the way, is about 2 meters and 20. It's fine. I won't really call it a great thing, and I'm not sure if I could actually recommend it without having ever tried any other headsets. What I will do though, I already ordered them. I will get 3 more headsets to review, but those are definitely starting at $100 up to $200. But for $50, I don't see them doing much wrong also. But like I said, I haven't tried the competition, but for what they are, they do a fine job. So I would say that's it. If you have any questions or something like that, just leave them down below. And the links for the product will be in the description. If you like this video, thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye.